Hi, my name is Sheena and I'm an interior designer at the Fabric Centre in Letterkenny, and today I'm here to talk to you about shutters and shutter design. So I've had a lot of customers and clients and followers on Instagram and Facebook asking me about shutters, and I just thought I'll take you through our most frequently asked questions, and hopefully that will help explain shutters to you and help you decide if you're thinking about them for your own home. So the first thing to point out is there's two main types of shutters. You've got your wood and your PVC. Historically the wood would have been the most popular form of shutter, but now PVC is definitely on the rise, mostly due to the fact that it doesn't warp with moisture, so it makes it really good for bathrooms and for kitchens. It also doesn't dent as easily as wood, so it actually is a little bit more durable. And a final plus is that it's a little bit less expensive than the wood shutters, so a lot of people are considering this as an economical option. So when we would be designing a shutter for your window, the first thing we would do is survey the window itself and the areas around it. So a lot of people ask me, how are the doors divided up? How will my shutter look? How will it be finished? Well, really that is down to your window. When you're getting a shutter designed, a fitter will come out and will survey the window and sort of recommend and advise on how best to divide up the doors. So that'll all depend on how your window's divided up, where your breaks are in your window, how big the panes of glass are, and also, which many people don't consider, is the area around your window. Is there space for the shutter doors to fold back? So for example, in the shutter we have bifolding doors, so they fold back here, and if there was no wall here they'd fold right back against the wall to allow for cleaning and for opening the window to air the room and so on. So we look, is there any furniture in front of the shutter? Is there space on either side? How are we going to divide up the doors, and how are they going to function in the space? The other thing to consider then is light. So the more doors you have, the more breaks you have, the less light you have. So we always want to make sure you have plenty of space for nice broad louvers to let in as much light as possible. So all this would be evaluated. This shutter here, for example, has a mid-bar, but your shutter can have full height louvers, but after a certain point in terms of height, we would recommend a mid-bar for strength. Another thing is that you can have your shutter tier on tier, so that the top doors open independently to the bottom doors, allowing you then to leave the bottom shut maybe for privacy, and that the top will open independently, allowing you to let light in, and that's really good for maybe sitting rooms and stuff where you want privacy during the day but you want as much light in as possible. Another thing to consider is the tilt bars. These ones are centered on the louver. You can have them over to one side, or you can have no tilt bar at all on your shutter if you just want to use the louvers to open and close. So this is all customized depending on your requirements, and also depending on the space in which it's going. Another customized finish is the hinges on the shutter. So this shutter has painted hinges, but they can also be silver or gold, so you can have your hinges kind of bespoke to whatever finish you have in the room. A lot of people do go with the painted hinges because it means even if they chop and change their painting or their finishes in the room, maybe change their door handles or light fittings, then the hinges match the shutter and will always go with whatever you have in the space. Because the shutter really is like a piece of window furniture in the room. Once you have a shutter, you can repaint, you can redecorate, and it'll always go with everything. And then a lot of people ask, how are the shutters finished? So really, it depends on what you want. You will get a choice of lovely mouldings that you can put around the outside. So they can be really decorative, like these, so quite ornate and lots of moulding on them. Or you can have something a little bit sleeker and a little bit slimmer and a little bit more contemporary. So that'll be down to personal choice and depending on the interior and the style of your home. You will have a moulded finish around the two sides and the top, and depending on whether you have a window ledge or not, you can have a sill bar on the bottom, or if you don't have a window ledge, you can have the same moulding wrapping around the bottom of the window as well. So if you're maybe at the build stage, you could leave the window ledges flush so that we can do the moulding around the bottom as well if you desire. Another question I get asked a lot is whether you can have a shutter on a tilt-turn window, and the answer to that is yes. The difference is with a tilt-turn window, as the window pulls into the room, we can't have anything in and around the recess of the window that will interfere with the window opening and closing. So the shutter is built onto the outside of the window, a little bit higher and a little bit wider than the concrete recess. You will have to have your window ledge removed or planed off so that it's flush with the wall and the frame can be built around the outside. But you can still then pull the window in and use it as a fire escape and clean it, and you can still have the look of a pretty shutter as well. A lot of people also ask me, can you have curtains with a shutter? Absolutely, you can have curtains with a shutter if you wish. The only thing to consider is maybe you'll need to take your curtain pole a bit wider and your curtains a bit wider to allow the shutters to open, and they can't interfere maybe with the top of the shutter where the doors are going to fold in. So you'll need to factor that in when you're designing your curtains around your shutter. Or if you already have curtains in existence, that'll have to be taken into consideration when your shutter's being designed. But a lot of people do like to just leave the shutters on their own, because the shutters are a beautiful feature in themselves and not necessarily needing curtains as well, because then, you know, maybe it'll take away a little bit from the shutter. But a lot of people maybe who want to put shutters on the whole front of their house, or maybe the whole house, but some rooms they still want to put curtains, you can absolutely put curtains as well. So I hope this gives you lots of information on what shutters can do. I think the only other thing to point out maybe is that we can do shape shutters, we can do arch shutters, we can do bay window shutters. Really the options are infinite. But if you have any more questions, please send us a message and I'd be happy to help.